proposed budget for the fiscal year of 2022-23. Join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you all for coming. Sharon, do you have an announcement on that?
At noontime, Mr. Martell contacted me and said he wasn't feeling well and he would going to rest for the rest of the day, and if he felt better, he was going to come. Otherwise, he was going to contact me, and he just contacted me and said he was not going to be able to make it. So Mr. Martell is not in presence tonight.
All right, thank you. I will make the motion to open the budget public hearing to review the proposed budget for the fiscal year 2022-23. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jason. Motion has been made and seconded to open the budget public hearing to review the proposed budget for the fiscal year 2022-23. All those in favor say
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. The proposed tax millage rate to be levied to support the budget will be the subject of this hearing and meets the truth in taxation requirements. Your board was very focused to get the budget done more efficiently than in prior years. A preliminary copy of the budget has been available to the public on our website since February 16th, 2022, which is the earliest it has ever been to the public. I want to thank the board for their work, which enabled us to get the budget into your hands so early. A hard copy of the budget package has been available at the Township beginning March 11th, 2022, as per the public notice. Your budget consists of 3 different sets of documents. In the interest of time, I will hit the high points and then take questions when I complete the review. I will be happy to meet with anyone or any group if they wish to delve into the numbers in greater detail. The first is the one titled Torch Lake Township Financial Overview. It kind of looks like this one. Should be in the back table. It is a high-level look of the revenue and expenditures for 2 years of actuals, 19-20, 20-21, and the budget for 22-23. I will look at the key drivers of the variances between revenue and expenditures by fund, and we'll do that on page 5. The second set of documents, which starts looking like this, you may or may not have it because it's 15 pages. We did 20 copies. If there isn't, it is on the website. This is the line item details that indicate what the money was spent on, and the report to determine the line items that drive the variances that I will be discussing shortly. A copy of this document is also available on the website if you did not get one. The last package, which has a blue cover page, I left mine at my desk, but it is titled the 22-23 Budget Review. I will walk through the first 4 pages, and then I will cover each fund and the respective tax level millage rate. The first page, which is this one, highlights the taxing structure of our township. Key numbers on this page are the total taxes at the top. For 2021-2022, it was 9.1 million. The estimate for 22-23 is roughly 9.4 million. It's a 3.7% change. School taxes is the next line item, county taxes. The township taxes is the one that we'll be focusing on. As you can see, there's a red number next to the township tax under the V dollars. The reason for that is throughout the budget, our road millage expired on December 31st of 2021. Therefore, until we pass another millage, there is no revenue that will come in for the road fund. That will generate some large numbers, and we will discuss what we need to do to reinstitute that road millage. Property valuations, that's a big deal with everyone. In 21-22, what we received from our assessor for information was $289 million of property valuation. This year, it's $304 million. It's a 5.3% increase, $15 million. Again, one of the things that I want to advise you on, and it's kind of a spoiler alert, there's quite a few proposals coming out of the county and some of the school districts that will be hitting in August. That's what I've been told. I have no idea what they are yet and how much it is, but I would make the assumption that going forward, we're going to see county and school board taxes going up. So the next page is the Torch Lake Township tax analysis. This is the one that we hit. Now, its background, out of 100% of the taxes that you pay, the township gets 14 cents. That means 86 cents of every tax dollar is leaving the township. So the estimated road millage fails. If the road millage fails, 2021-22 is 1.229 million. For 2022-2023, it's only 1.154 million. The difference is $74,650. Now, how did I get that number? We have positives in the general fund of 19,300 increase. The fire fund is an increase of $15,610. The ambulance fund is $28,870. The current mill rate for the road fund is a 0.5 mil. We will lose $138,430 in tax revenue associated with the road fund. So that's where when you net those numbers out, that's where the $74,650 comes from. What I have done on this page is looked at what happens if we pass the millage at the proposed rate of 1 mil. So if we do that, we would be reinstituting the existing 0.5 mil rate and coming in and asking for an incremental 0.5. The total for that comes out to roughly $289,000. If it passes, then we will be in a positive condition for the road fund, and overall, we would be looking at a positive on taxes. If it fails, we've got 3 items that will be impacted. One will be we won't have any further road improvements. The next date for us to be able to propose a millage would be either mid-2023 or put off till 2024. And of course, if we delay the repairs, that's just going to add the incremental costs given the inflationary pressures that are just beginning. So it's pretty critical that as we approach that millage vote, that we get a lot of support to pass that. Overall, our risk is that our taxes are going to be increased from inflation, but we're going to be challenged on the expense side as we go forward, because right now I've got an estimate in the budget of roughly 4%. And that we took that across the line. Now, the way the budget was constructed, just to give you a little background, in the past, it has always been done on a line item by line item basis, and it took hours. So what we did this time was any expense less than $5,000, I wasn't going to talk about it. We're just going to add 4% to it and put it in the budget. Anything over $5,000, we would spend time in looking at it. In breaking down the costs, 12% of our costs in the budget come from everything under 5,000. 88% of our costs are things over 5. So all we did was, all right, we can nickel and dime ourselves to death, or we can look at the big piles and see what we have to do. That's how your budget was put together this year. If we go to the next page, this one is an old-time page. We did it last year. It's basically a cash flow page. The estimated cash change, and this will tie to the line item budget, is down there in the second column. It's 135,900 positive. The reason that number is positive is because we didn't have any road expenditures to speak of. It was only roughly 13,000. We had a couple of items on there that ultimately Bill worked with the county and we didn't get charged for things. So the positive about that is that when you look to the right of the road fund there, our fund balance is $298,000. Now I've gone out and we've gotten some more tax dollars, and the total taxes collected have increased roughly 15 to 20,000 since I put this together, but that's not going to move a whole lot. Then when you look at the road for the budgeted cash change in 22-23, the $346,150 represents the first year of the 5-year plan that Bill and I presented to everyone at the board meeting when we presented the fact that we needed to increase our millage rate from 0.5 to 1. The 346 are specific roads, and what Bill has done is he's taken all of the township roads based on the age that we received from Antrim County Road Commission. And what we did was we took the oldest roads, and over the next 10 years, we just kept layering them in so that by the time we end up at the end of 10 years, we should have roads with an average life of 5. And as far as age, and then they're going to be good for between 20 and 30 years. So after the 10-year plan, you ought to be looking at a lower rate for the road fund for a period of time, as the maintenance costs on those things should be minimal until they start getting aged again. What it does for the township is puts together a 20 or 30-year plan for your roads so that once we get these things fixed over the next 10 years, you can start running it at the rate that you need to, working with the road commission. The bottom chart is the cash flow. If you'll remember, we started for the first time monthly budgets so that we could track where we were based on an estimate. And I have to give full credit to my wife for putting together that model, that financial model. It's fantastic, and it allows us to look at what our spending habits are on a 3 and a 5-year average spend rate. We have one-time items that impact us, but they're not material. And so therefore, we're able to put together a budget so we can track it during the course of the year. So you'll see that in the first 9 months of the year, we'll lose $1 million cash flow. But we go back and we pick that stuff up in the second half with our tax collections. Ultimately, our tax flow is going to go down. We're spending the money to do it. But again, the final number of $2,172,000 is short the road fund. So if we pass the millage, you can add roughly $300,000 to that number. Now, when you look at the fact that we started the year at 2.5 million, we're going to end up, if the road millage passes, we're going to end up somewhere around 2.375, 2.4. As a township, we have managed through some tough times. The next page is, looks like this. And what I wanted to do is, a lot of questions is always, what happened year over year? And so I put some highlights in here, but let me walk walk through a summary of it. The revenue is down 137,000. That's broken out as follows. The general fund is 29,000 down year over year. That's because the license and permits are down 22,000. The reason for that is we had significant revenue from the Torchport rezoning applications, which ran $500 a piece for 1632 lots. So it's $16,000 in that alone. The day park was down roughly 5,000 from our estimate. Cemetery lot sales are going to be down 7,000 from where they were. This year we had quite a large number. You can look on the budget sheets to see what they are, but I think it was like 16,000, 12,000, something like that, and we're only estimating 5,000. So that's a $29,000 change year over year. The fire fund is going to be up 30,000. Taxes are going to be positive by 15. And I've issued to Kevin Lane, our fire chief, a $15,000 grant challenge to help on the revenue side. There's plenty of money out there for grants, and we have to do it. Go get it. The ambulance fund, I'm looking at roughly $11,000 positive change, 26,000 in taxes, but I've got a negative number in our run fees. The run fees this year was roughly $100,000. About 25,000 of that was catch up from the prior year. So with AOS, we were running somewhere around $70,000 to $80,000 a year with almost 200 runs. We figure that for next year, we're going to keep it at 70,000 for an estimate. But at the current rate, if we have the same type of year for activity, we could exceed that. They also have been given a $15,000 grant challenge. Again, there's lots of money out there. There's things we can use it for. So I've challenged Mike, our ambulance director, to go out there and find it. Then the big downer, of course, is the road fund is down 145,000. Looking at expenditures, generally the comp and benefit piece, and I include in the comp and benefits the consultant that we have in the zoning office. Our comp and benefits run about 50% of total expenditures. So the general fund is up 65,000. Comp and benefits are roughly 6. The day park is 32,000. Capital was a favorable 54. All other is spread across the various cost centers is 22,000. The fire fund is up 33,000. Comp and benefits are 13. And all other spread across all the various categories is 22K. The ambulance fund is up 22,000. Comp and benefits are up 58,000. I'm going to sit back down with Mike on that number. That may be a little high. I think we were looking at a couple unique things, but I want to revisit that. But our capital expenditures will be down 35,000 because we spent close to 45,000 this year on the 2 lifts for both ambulances. So our capital expenses for next year, I think we're looking at roughly 10,000, which is basically supplementing the capital parts of those ambulances. The road fund is up 335,000, and the reason for that again is that we're going to do the work. There will be a shortfall in the road fund, as I showed on the other page. Roughly $40,000, $50,000. If we have to, we can use the COVID money that we got. That COVID money is roughly $123,000. If we have to use it, we're allowed to use it for the road fund. We'll plug that hole with that amount of money. I am hopeful that the millage passes and we'll keep that COVID money in reserve. Let us walk through then each of the funds. You have them in front of you. So we'll start general fund. Proposed 2022-2023 millage rate is 1 mil. That will be for the fiscal year, April 1, 2022 to March 31, 2023. For the fire fund, the proposed 2022-2023 millage rate is 1 mil. Fiscal year, April 1, 2022 to March 31, 2023. The ambulance fund, the proposed 2022-2023 millage rate is 1.85 mil. Fiscal year, April 1, 2022 to March 31, 2023. The road fund, you will see is in red, is a proposed 2022-2023 millage rate of 1 mil. Fiscal year, April 1, 2022 to March 31, 2023, based upon the vote of the citizens. The liquor enforcement fund is a proposed budget of 2022-2023, does not have a millage associated with it, it is strictly a budget. Cemetery fund, fiscal year April 1, 2022 to March 31, 2023, does not have millage, it is strictly a budget. Finally, the Traverse Bay Nature Preserve, proposed 2022-2023 is the budget. There is no millage associated with it. That completes the review of what the tax levies will be for your 2022-2023 township budget. That completes the review of the funds with specific tax levy millage rates. I will now take any questions from the public, as long as they're not trick questions.
You can handle it.
Are there any questions from the public?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
Item number 4 on the agenda, or is this just specific to the budget proposal? Public comment, or is this specific to the budget?
specific to the public.
But
I wanted, yeah, for the budget.
To the budget.
I wanted people to have a chance to ask questions on it. I didn't put it as a specific line item.
4 is yes or no?
I'm sorry?
Public comment number 4 is
Yes, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. All right, if there's no questions on the budget, again, if anybody wants to go through the numbers, let me know. So, let me move forward. So I will now take a motion for the board to close the budget public hearing. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, board, we have a motion. Second it to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? The public hearing is hereby closed. I will now open it up for public comment. Randy, would you like to make a comment?
No, I'm going to go last.
I don't think we have, do we have any comments?
We have two. Mr. Stillings?
Good evening.
Hello.
Not much. I just going through salary increases for the various board members.
Yep.
And no problem with 4%. That's very mild. I'm pleased to see that everybody's fiscally conscious of the situation. But I think the 12%, yeah. I did the terms of trustee. I know what it's like to be a trustee. I don't think anybody really runs for that office. I don't think anybody runs for that office expected to make a whole lot of money. But I don't know. There's just something wrong with 12%. I'd be much happier to see it something more in line with the rest of the board. Thank you very much.
You can make those comments again at the annual meeting when we bring it up to vote.
Sure.
If you'd like.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Please, Jerry, go ahead.
Next.
Bob, you did a great job in explaining this. Yeah, quite a
Thank you.
good job. In fact, I taught government to budgeting at Lansing Community College, finance and other area, and you did a good job going through it. The handout is excellent. Okay, so I want to make sure you know that I think that is good. Also, I'm very fiscally conservative on areas, and I just heard somebody talk about the salaries, but I'm also concerned about the budget deficit, planned budget deficit. I know the state of Michigan requires balanced budget. They also require it, my understanding, at the local level. However, surplus funds can, excuse me, can be used. So revenue have to equal the expenditures planned for. If it's not, and there's no surplus, you have to do cuts. And it's interesting, 2 years in a row now, I noticed the budget plan to be a deficit. It's easier way to do it than going through all the line items and figuring out where do we cut. Some things should be postponed. I think all budgets should come in balanced. And, excuse me, I understand sometimes you can't always do it, but surplus is, from a budget standpoint, is supposed to be for unforeseen, unanticipated expenditures. Expenditures that are anticipated and are part of operating costs should not be covered by budget. Again, you might disagree with me. So I think the budgets for the general fund should be looked at. The other ones I understand, it's hard to go out a few bucks here and there, but going back to your own format, for prior 2 years, there was a surplus. The next 2 years, which you're in charge of, has a deficit. So I just want to comment that I don't think that budget should be done that way, should go through and make the hard decisions, pay raises, non-pay raises, looking at what we're paying for consultants and everything else, even if it's worthwhile, or at least believe it's worthwhile. But you should come in with a balanced budget.
Thanks, Jerry. Any other comments?
Marina?
Hi, I'm Marina Friend. I live on Royal View here up the road. I have one question before we go to, as far as salaries for our elected officials. Is the two trustees, are we voting on those positions individually or separately? Or, individually or together?
Together, it's a position.
Is there a reason why?
Yeah, because under the MTA rules, you are voting for the position and not the person that holds the position.
Okay. Another question that I have is, in your budget, it doesn't break that out, but I'm wondering how many employees does the clerk have?
Well, the clerk would have the deputy clerk, which she's entitled to at this point. We have a recording secretary that serves a number of positions, which includes scanning. I think that's it as far as people, right?
Yes, yeah.
So the deputy is one that she's entitled to. The recording secretary tends to report to the clerk, but she also holds other working positions. So in that particular case, I think if you looked at it, we've been having a recording secretary for the last 2.5 years. And the reason, because I proposed it, is because if the clerk's trying to take all the notes and everything, there's not a lot of time for them to be involved in the discussion. That's an important vote for the board. So we spent the money to do the recording secretary.
And how do you come up with the percentage as far as salary increases?
We have done it based on what the Antrim County Board has done. We've done that at least since I've been on member of the board. That's 3+ couple of years, so 5 years. So whatever they put on for their commissioners, we follow suit. So this year they did 4%, which was in the paper, and that's what we were following.
Okay. And you don't keep an eye on what other clerks do in other townships?
No, but I will be proposing something in April
Okay.
that will bring that to light and will provide a further discussion that the community can have going forward.
I just noticed that when I did a little homework and let me back up for a minute, I meant all officials, not just the clerk, sorry about that. When I was doing some homework as far as like what salaries were, it seemed like our elected officials were at least anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 higher annually. Is there a reason why?
I guess it's because the percentages that started out and what have been added
Okay,
built us to that point. I have no idea if the townships are equivalent of what we're running. We've got the fire department, we have EMS.
Mhm.
So again, it's a mix of looking at what that particular township consists of and determining whether or not we're fairly compensated.
Okay. And those pay increases or salary increases, are they based on merit at all? Like job performance?
Well, here's the problem. There is no manager in the office. The pay rates, pay changes are determined on a percent basis. The merit is based upon who votes for them.
Okay.
So if you vote for a particular person and you don't think they deserve the salary, there's nothing you can do. As manager, I can't fire anybody.
Sure.
I can't put anybody on a performance PIP program. So it's the voter's responsibility to handle who sits up here at this table. And the pay then just comes based on the percentages and where we start.
Is there any way that you can break out, so you can't break those positions out when it comes to trustee, when we're voting on pay
No,
or
no.
salary increases?
No, because again, you're voting on the position. You're not voting on the person. You're not voting on Jason's salary per se. You're voting on that trustee position. If you don't think that trustees should have an increase, then when you get into the annual meeting, that's where you can propose a motion to change that rate.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Sharon, anybody else?
Randy, did you still want to come up?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Randy Bishop, 11089 Wood Special Drive. As a precursor to the annual meeting, I just kind of wanted to give perception from the public of what we're hearing on our radio show and talking with community leaders, people, individuals. This is an election year. And if any of us remember the misery index, Jimmy Carter,
Yes.
okay,
A lot of us were around then, right?
well, it's coming again.
Yep.
We're going to be double-digit inflation by the end of this year. It'll be 11 to 12%. The problem that we have in talking with private business owners, small companies trying to grow their business in northern Michigan, they haven't gotten raises. When you factor in fuel costs, Little Traverse Disposal in Petoskey, Harbor Springs, $5.25 a gallon for diesel in his garbage trucks last week. He was crying to me on the phone, sobbing, because he's got to ask for a $4 surcharge to collect people's trash. I don't want to do it, Randy. It breaks my heart. I love my customers. Every single business is competing for dollars from the consumer. And one of the biggest robbers of our dollars is government. A 4% increase, really? How many of us have gotten a 4% pay raise every single year for the last 20 years? It happened before you were here. I understand that. But when you factor in the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest, it adds up. Now, for one particular trustee to ask for a double-digit increase, that person should resign. I am personally offended that he would even ask for it and then not have the courage to show up because I know he's sick. He's not feeling well. How convenient.
Excuse me, Randy.
My precursor to this is very
Let
simple,
me finish.
very simple. Do you know for sure any millages are gonna pass? In this year's climate, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be a tough slug. It's gonna be hard. I know it's only 1%, it's 1 mil, right? But people have had it. Gas prices, food prices, it's bad. So before we get into the annual meeting, I just want you to think about that as we head into that discussion and be prepared for the public comment.
That's
Thank you.
fine. Hey, Randy, just one comment was that the double-digit increase was originally proposed by Jason and not Alan. Alan actually indicated that he was fine at the rate that he was at.
Okay, for point of clarification, the notes I saw and what I thought I read online was it was 16% for him, is what his request was?
No, no,
Did I misread that?
yes.
Okay,
yes.
then I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay, I
And the other,
retract that statement.
the other item is on the road. It's a 0.5% increase. The millage ended.
Right,
And we've got to either continue it or we got to meet it so that, because our average road life right now is about 22.
I'm with you on the
24 years.
roads, I get it.
Okay,
I had a bent rim, blew out a tire, I know.
okay.
I almost lost my life on my motorcycle because of it. But here's the point. There can be cuts made where there's spending happening that shouldn't be happening. You can make excuses all you want, but technically you should be able to find the money without.
Well,
That's my position.
and we're certainly going to try again.
Okay.
The nice thing is it's a budget.
Right, no, I understand. It's
And-
proposed, I get it.
Part of the problem we have, Randy, is the fact that for about 4 years, there were no expenditures on capital improvements, which built up a kitty in our township.
Right.
We are catching up to some of that now.
Totally got it.
And if
And you
we-
did a good job presenting it, and explaining it, so.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Anyone else? Sharon?
I have no other cards unless anyone has any more.
All right. Do I have a motion to close the budget meeting?
I will make a motion to close this budget meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded to close the budget hearing. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is hereby closed. We will take
2
a
minutes.
5 minute.
5-minute break and we will start the annual meeting.
Did everybody
Bob, you gotta come and make me do it.
I'm sorry?
You gotta come and make me be quiet.
I can't. I'm not going anywhere in a hurry.
I can outrun you.
I got my scooter.
Oh, okay. A little more right.
Has everybody signed the sign-up sheet? All right.
To vote on the salaries, you need to be a resident. So if you can be in our meeting, if you're not a resident, you can't vote on the salary resolution that we will be discussing. Is this a separate sign-in?
Kath, you ready? All right, folks. I will call to order the Torch Lake Township Annual Meeting of the Electors of March 15th, 2022 at, thank you. I'm going to do it just to keep us in tone. Let's stand and say the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You made the motion. Do I need to
Thank you.
second?
For what?
You made the motion to open the meeting.
No, I just called it to order.
Oh. Thank you.
All right. First item of business is reading and approval of the March 16th, 2021 minutes, the annual meeting minutes. Is there any objection by the electors to waive the reading of last year's minutes? Hearing no objection, do I have a motion from the floor to waive the reading of the March 16th, 2021 annual meeting minutes? Thank you. Lee Scott and Laura Anderson seconded. It has been moved and seconded to waive the reading of the March 16th, 2021 minutes. Any discussion by the electors on the motion? There is no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Wait.
What?
Do I get to, there's a spelling correction on a name.
All right.
Can I, or
You can now, I guess, if you had.
would somebody out there, Jim Meinecke's name is not spelled correctly in two different places. Would someone make the motion to approve the minutes with
with
the
change.
correction to his name? Thank you very much.
And a second then. Laura? Thank you, Laura. Well, now we'll get to do it. Now we'll move on. Any discussion by the electors on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Do I have a motion from the floor to approve the minutes of the March 16th, 2021 annual meeting minutes as presented with changes? Did I just do that?
Yes.
Ah,
Why, yes, you did.
see, I got to do one of those in every meeting, so it's not perfect.
See if we're all awake.
Yeah, I got to make sure somebody's awake. All right. Next item is testimony and comments from citizens related to the township. Are there any comments from the citizens?
I have 4 cards.
All right.
First is from Jason Merchant, 12303 Arrowhead Court.
Hi, Jason Merchant, 12303 Arrowhead Court. I just want to say this is in regards to the trustee salary. And I actually would like to apologize for recommending it be so high. And I'm sorry that if I offended anybody. Since I've made that recommendation, I've heard a lot of good points of why it shouldn't be that high. And again, sorry if I offended anybody.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
And then secondly, Mr. Rubing.
Jairus Rubing, Banks Township. I serve as your county commissioner, and I've had a few questions from Torch Lake Township residents regarding roads. And I just want to reiterate that Mr. Cook has appointed Mr. Peterson, the deputy supervisor, to have a plan for how to fix Torch Lake Township roads. And Mr. Peterson has done that, and he has done an excellent job. I wish other townships would do that. He has ridden every road with Bert Thompson, the road commission manager, and assessed the needs and what it would take to keep the roads in good repair. And Mr. Peterson has done an excellent job. So if you want to know the schedule of that, I think he has it. I don't have it because although I'm the liaison to the Antrim County Road Commission, I have 15 townships to keep track of in that regard, so I do not have Torch Lakes memorized. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Mike Bertram, I believe. I cannot.
I would like the electors to know that I've been very pleased with the cooperation, support of our township board for our EMS services. As you know, this is our first year of being an advanced life support unit, which is the best you can get in the country. And we've had a good team here. And in order to have a good team, you need to have good leadership. And without their leadership, we wouldn't have a good team. It's been an honor to be working with them for the past year. I've been very, very happy with how they've responded to our needs as well as I'm responding to their needs. So it's been just an absolute pleasure. And in order for us to survive, we need the support from the board to do that. And in order to be an LS, you need to have a paramedic on board and you need to have an EMT on board 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And with a small township like this, it can be difficult, but we have a dedicated team out there who's willing to do this for you. Second of all, the auto lift cots was the best investment for this EMS service. It has prevented workers' comp injuries. My background is in healthcare. I was an emergency room director of 25 EDs for almost 30 years. And with workers' comp, back injuries was the most expensive budgetary item for anybody in regards to budgets. So them, by spending that kind of money this year, we owe a debt of gratitude to them because it's really saved our paramedics and EMTs. So I want to thank the Township Board for their services. Bob, Kathy, Sharon, and Jason, oh, there you are, for their support and services. And I think that they would be proud of you. And I want to thank you for allowing me to service you as their representative. Thank you. And all the, stand up, Ted. He gets to be recognized. Ted is the person who's basically been stepping in as EMS administrator, and I've been bringing him along. He's doing an excellent job. He's been on board since October. So he really needs to be recognized for what he's doing for you. I call him every day because I have a summer home where it's warm. I come back every month or so, but I talk to Ted almost every day. So what a great guy we have here. What a great team. So thank you.
And Laura Anderson.
Thank you. I think I need to turn that down. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I just wanted to say a couple of things about the officer salary issues. I did a little research and found that the average supervisor salary in Michigan is $34,555. There's a big range. There's, some are in the low 20s and some are as high as 70,000. I think there's a big range in what responsibilities are also required of a supervisor or any other elected official in a township. And so asking for 30,000, I don't think is out of line when the average is 34,000. We do have, like the EMS, we have other things that people, that our officials have to tend to that some counties don't, or some townships don't have. And when you think about it, we're not even talking $15 an hour for the officials who work full-time. So I don't think that these salaries are out of line. You can't get people to work at McDonald's apparently anymore for $15 an hour. I also wanted to note that that Milton Township, I believe, has raised theirs 6%. The inflation rate is running at 7%. They're predicting it even higher. So I don't think that asking for a 4% raise for these positions is out of line. And then I just also wanted to reiterate something that Bob said, we are deciding on salaries for a position. This isn't a referendum on the people who serve those positions. And, if you aren't happy with what they're doing, we need to vote them out of office. But if you want to attract somebody competent, you need to pay a reasonable salary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those are all the cards that we have.
All right. Thank you for the comments. We'll move on. State of the Township. This is my chance to give you a 25-minute speech. I won't call it a re-election speech. I'll just call it a speech. It'll be about 5 minutes. I'm about 1/3 of the way through my first term, and as supervisor, and as many of you know, this has been quite a ride. I want to thank the board for their support over the past 16 months. Looking back at the actions taken, roughly 98% of the board's actions have resulted in unanimous support. Special thanks to Sharon, as she has been a tremendous resource to me for navigating the rules and guidelines of governing from the supervisor's chair. We still have work to do, but we have come a long ways. The board's accomplishments include initiation of YouTube, live streaming, and recording. This was a key move, allowing more people to have the opportunity to watch the various township meetings, which resulted in greater transparency for our citizens. It also has proven valuable for fact-checking comments made at board meetings. Developing and passing new governance policies with a large debt owed to Bob Spencer for his helping the board. Started the scanning project to protect township records. In conjunction with Bill Peterson and Antrim County Road Commission, a 2-phase 10-year program for road repair was developed, presented to the township. Started the review process to rewrite the outdated township zoning ordinances with our zoning administrator's help. Brought 8 new citizens into our township governance with 3 new members for each of the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Commission and 2 new members to the Board of Review. I thank each of them for coming forward to participate in the running of the township. Special thanks to the members of the steering committee whose focus was to be a sounding board for our zoning administrator as she undertook the work of rewriting our zoning ordinances prior to their submission to the Planning Commission. My compliments to the new chairperson of the PC Commission, Andy Graves, and the ZBA Chairperson Laura Anderson for jumping into their roles and providing strong leadership for these groups. Thanks to the work to Bill Peterson, numerous capital projects, as well as a number of smaller items were completed that had not been undertaken in recent years. We improved the financial reporting and implementation of monthly budgets. The board approved a 45-day moratorium on new permits, which allowed the Planning Commission to reconsider some of the zoning ordinances to ensure they were in line with the objectives of our master plan. One of the areas that is getting a lot of attention lately, and the township would be lost without her, is our assessor, Amy Genema. With the state going through so many different gymnastics and evaluating the assessment process, Amy keeps our township updated and in compliance with all the new regulations and requirements. Finally, I want to express my appreciation for our zoning administrator, Sarah Capriva, who brings significant experience in handling the ZA role, and for the support of Jackie Peterson, who keeps all the gears turning for that team. The work to be completed in the next 12 months includes completing the scanning work on all documents related to property files in the new fiscal year. After that, we will evaluate how best to proceed with that project. Passing the road millage so that we can complete the first of 2 5-year repair programs for all of the township's roads. That should position the township to manage ongoing maintenance and provide relief to the annual budgets once the work is completed. Again, thanks to Bill Peterson for that work. Evaluation of whether the township citizens want a police officer and determine the best way to finance day park operations. We have both of these items on an agenda for next week's public meeting that will be held here at 7 p.m. We want to hear from the public as to your interests in either having a police officer, and also the fact that the day park has a fairly deep hole as far as operational expenses, and we need to evaluate how best to proceed with that. Finally, complete the rewriting of our zoning ordinances by the Planning Commission, hopefully by March of 2023. No pressure, Andy. The PC will also be updating our master plan. Other items we will be dealing with is the application from Dollar General. The Planning Commission will be conducting the review, and the community will need to come out and express their views at the public hearings. Also, I have seen the discussions around the upcoming Memorial Day weekend fireworks display at the Torchport facility. The same rules will be enforced as they were at last year's event, and Sarah and I will work closely with Mr. Bays with regards to this event. Fireworks are allowed under state law, and they were within those laws last year. It was a pretty good show last year, and I'm sure he will do the same this year. Your fire and ambulance operations are best in class, and you can all be very proud of the teams. We are supported by strong leaders in Mike Bertram for our ambulance group, Kevin Lane, as mentioned earlier, as their fire chief, and Mr. Everything, Ted Schroeder. You stole my thunder on that, Mike. Not only that, but Ted also serves as the guru of IT for our operations.
For me.
It goes without saying that the volunteer fire team and our ambulance crews are greatly appreciated by the township community. I will continue to ensure transparency during this administration. YouTube live streaming of all meetings related to the business of the township will continue. This is to ensure every citizen has a chance to see the meetings. Agendas for the township board meetings are available the Thursday before the monthly board meeting, and all documents that relate to the business of the board will be posted by mid-afternoon on the Saturday before our board meeting. That gives everyone 3 days to go through it, have your questions ready, and come prepared to ask them. Constant contact will be used to inform our citizens and interested parties in what is going on in the township. And I look forward to another 12 months of positive progress for the township and working as your supervisor as we move forward in the next fiscal year. Thank you for your attention. Our next item on the agenda is the electors voting on the proposed salaries of the elected township officials. The board had discussions around setting the salaries of the various elected officials. The 4% increase was reflective of the actions taken by the Antrim County Commissioners, as I mentioned earlier. It's been the common practice for the township to follow the county unless the board agrees to an alternative number. There was a considerable discussion around the trustee pay rate. Given the increasing number of meetings by the board and the pay difference between the other members of the board and the trustees, a larger increase was determined to be acceptable for the two trustees. Motions for elected office will be accepted from the floor from the electors. Motions will be made separately for each office and then voted on by the electors of the township. Anyone can make a motion for an amount that is the same or greater than the current salaries, or they can make a motion based on the recommendation from the board. The following salary recommendations are supported by the board. Resolution 2022-01, treasurer's salary proposed at $30,000, an increase of $1,160 or 4%. The current salary is $28,840. Resolution 2022-02, clerk salary proposed at $27,550, a $1,070 increase, 4%. Current salary is $26,480. Resolution 2022-03, trustee salary proposed at $6,640 increase, 12%. Current salary is $5,360. Resolution 2022-04, supervisor salary proposed at $30,000, a $1,160 increase, 4%. Current salary is $28,840. Is there a motion from the floor for the treasurer's resolution?
I'll make a motion to follow the board's recommendation and set the treasurer's salary at $30,000.
Motion has been made following the board's recommendation for the treasurer at $30,000. Do I have a second? There has been a second. Motion has been made and seconded. The motion is for the position of treasurer to follow the recommendation of the board at $30,000. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing no other questions. All those in favor, please raise your hand. I would say that's a vast majority.
Close enough.
Yeah, all opposed, raise your hand. Nothing, unanimous. Thank you. All right, is there a motion from the floor for the clerk, Kathy?
Do I do it now? Okay. I'd like to make a comment about the clerk's salary personally. I take to heart what Mr. Bishop said, you know, with the world in the situation that we're in right now, with the war going on, and the fact that that war is going to cost the Americans with our gas, with our food, with our everything. And he's right, small businesses are struggling. So my motion is to maintain my salary at the same number as it currently is and to forego that raise.
Do I have a second? Tom Stilling seconded. Motion has been made and seconded to maintain the clerk's salary at the current level of $26,480. Any discussion on the motion? There is no discussion. All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All right, we better count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Yeah, leave
10,
them up,
11, 12,
please.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I get 18.
I didn't finish.
Yeah, I think you would have. Could you do it one more time to the top front two rows? Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $21, I got 21. All opposed? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10.
Thank you.
Motion passes.
You got
Still
8?
passes.
Close enough,
We,
close enough.
we,
All right.
we had a couple people whose arms got tired. All right, thank you. Is there a motion from the floor for the trustee? Tom?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the trustee salary not be increased by 12%, that it be set at a 4% increase, equal to the rest of what the township board is doing.
You can't do that to me.
Yeah,
You can't lower it.
he's not lowering it. He can't lower what they're actually getting paid. He can lower.
Well, it's a 4% increase over what they're
Yeah.
currently getting.
Right, he's
Yeah.
meeting the 4%.
Okay, I'm misreading.
Yeah, no, so if I take 4%, 12, 14, 1, 20, 21, $214 increase.
I'll trust you.
I don't trust myself. In fact, I can do it easily. So 5360 is the current salary, 1.04%, places it at $5,575 with a rounding of 60 cents. Do you have any objection
fine.
to that?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, and the
All right.
reason is 12% is just a big number for an increase. And yeah, it's not a number that's going to break the township or anything, but it's like a precedent thing. Numbers
Yep.
mean something. Thank you.
Yep. So the motion is for the trustee salary to increase to $5,575. Do I have a second? Okay. Jerry Coca seconded. Motion has been made and seconded that the trustee salary increase at 4% to $5,575. Do I have discussion on the motion? Yes, sir.
Point of clarification,
Okay.
how many committees do the trustees attend in servicing the board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Randy, could you come up? I'm sorry. Couple. Well,
The number of committees that the trustees serve on that are outside of normal board function meetings,
Yeah.
how many of those committees do they currently serve on?
Alan doesn't serve on anything. I think the meetings that we did were a lot around the policies. We had multiple meetings to review the policies that would be implemented.
Okay, but I'm speaking specifically to like the parks or different types of actual committee assignments.
Yeah, we don't assign anybody to the Parks Committee as a, for instance.
Okay,
We don't, I'm trying to think of another committee.
I'm planning commission,
Jason's on there, but he gets a rate for that. He
a per diem?
per meeting, yeah.
Okay, per diem for the
Yeah,
meeting. Okay, is there any other, because I didn't know.
Really, there isn't. I mean, Jason and
Okay,
yeah,
so you're serving on two.
I wasn't on the steering, but I released that duty.
Okay,
he was steering and I think that's really about
okay,
it.
my only point of possibly amending Mr. Stilling's motion is that to make sure that for additional service, attending any type of committee assignments, coming back with recommendations to the board, that we make sure they're compensated $100 a meeting or whatever it is that's outside of their normal salary.
Yeah, we did that for the steering committee.
Would you have a problem amending your,
Yeah, right now, I don't think you need to amend
do
it.
they get paid? That's.
They get paid.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Then I withdraw my comment.
Well, it was just a clarification. That's all you asked. That's fine. All right, so we have a motion for the trustee salaries to increase 4% to $5,575. It was seconded. Any other discussion? If not, then all in favor, raise your hand, please. Wow. Yeah, okay, that's good. All opposed? Oops. 2, 4, 6. So the motion passes with a majority. So the trustee salary will be at $5,575. All right, last one. Is there a motion from the floor for the supervisor? Lee Scott moves. I'm assuming you're saying to make it consistent with the board recommendation. All right. Second, Randy?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Motion has been moved and seconded for the supervisor position to receive a salary of 4% increase of $30,000. Is there any discussion on the motion? No further discussion. All those in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? All right, no one's opposed, unanimous. Hey, you gotta have some fun, you know? All right. That completes our agenda for this year's annual meeting. A reminder, please, we are having the public meeting with the two items, the Township Police Enforcement Officer and future funding options for Township Day Park. It will be here in the building, March 22nd, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Hopefully you'll come. If you can't make it, please send your comments or your interest to the clerk's office so that we can then read them at the meeting. Yes. Oh, thank you. I haven't adjourned yet. I did my public. Any other public comments? Naturally.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, as your county commissioner, I've appreciated this board and the way that they've been open and transparent. And I received my tax documents back, and I would like the people of Torch Lake Township to know that for county commissioner, my tax paperwork indicates that I received $7,884 for serving as your county commissioner. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. That completes the agenda. We will adjourn and start our regularly scheduled board meeting at 7:30. Thank you for coming. Do I need a motion to adjourn? I didn't
You
think so.
didn't make one to call it to order.
I didn't, there's no motion to start it. There's no motion to end it.
Just
The board
goes
gets,
on and on.
the chairman gets to adjourn the meeting. All right.
At
I call to order the Torch Lake Township regular
7:37.
board meeting of March 15, 2022 at
7:37.
7:37. Reviewing our housekeeping items, board, when speaking, please move close to your microphone to ensure you are heard clearly for the YouTube streaming. And I request that citizens who speak to adjust the height and stand close to the microphone. There will be two opportunities for citizen comments. I will be requesting individuals stay within the 4 minutes in both citizen comment sections. Would appreciate everyone keeping their points concise. I would request that comments are made respectfully to the board. We are here to discuss the township's business. Citizen comments should pertain to specific issues, concerns, or policies they would like to bring to the board's attention. I respect everyone's time. I strongly urge the board not to respond to public comments, but address them in the board comments section. Sometimes this is difficult, but this is not a debating stage between citizens and board members. We have township business to conduct and it is required that we do so effectively. If there needs to be a follow-up from the board, I will direct the appropriate person to reach out to that individual. The documents on the website are aligned to the items on the agenda. These are draft documents to provide background information only. Just to be clear, motions were drafted to help the board more quickly get to the final wording and vote on the respective motions. The final motion may look different to reflect the actual action taken by the board. We have one set of minutes to approve. Board, are there any changes to the minutes to the regular board meeting of February 15th, 2022?
I have none.
I have none.
Jason? All right, and I have none. All right. I will make the motion to approve the February 15, 2022 regular board meeting minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second them.
Thank you. It is moved and seconded to approve the regular board meeting of February 15th, 2022. Any further discussion regarding the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next item on the agenda is correspondence and announcements. Kathy, do we have?
Yep, I have a couple things. First of all, to remind you, if you are a Central Lake School District resident, you do have an election coming up on May 3rd. If you are an Elk Rapids School District resident, you do not have an election on May 3rd. I have absentee ballot request forms if you're interested. They're also on the website, so you can pull that off anytime. Many of our people have signed up to be on a permanent absentee list. And really, I just want to remind you, all that means is that you'll get an application automatically in the mail. It would still be up to you to return that application to get a ballot. This does not get you a ballot. It just skips one step for you, okay? And then secondly, in terms of correspondence, I received an email from the Elk Rapids Superintendent of Schools, and she would like to be on our agenda to speak about the bond construction that's going on in Elk Rapids. However, she thought that our board meeting was the first Tuesday of the month. So I had to correct her and remind her that our board meeting in April will be the 19th. So I have not at this time heard back from her for sure whether she will be able to present on the 19th of April. So all I can say is if you're interested in hearing what she has to say, take a look on our website at the agenda to see if her name appears on the agenda. Okay? And I think that might be it. That's it.
All right, thank you. Next item is the agenda content. Anyone have changes to the agenda?
I do not.
All right, thank you. Hearing none, make the motion that the agenda be accepted as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jason. It is moved and seconded that the agenda is accepted as presented. Any further discussion regarding the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We move to citizen comment. Please respect the 4-minute limit. Also, board, as a reminder, this is not citizen debate. Board members can respond during the final board comment section of the agenda. Thank you. Do we have anything there?
We have Mike. Did you want to speak during?
I just want to follow protocol,
Yeah,
but the consent calendar will go off.
yeah, I'll pull the report. Yep.
Okay.
I'll pull the report.
Then we also have Juliet McAvoy, which I think wants to speak during her time for the Kings on number 4 issue, and not at public comment time.
We'll let you speak during, when we open it up for discussion of the board, we'll let you make the presentation.
Okay, and then Jairus, you wanted to speak again?
I'm assuming
You
you're
tired of
gonna-
me yet?
You're going to, I'm concerned you're going to start charging a speaking fee for us here.
He's
Just-
earning.
Just wanted to let you know that the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development has hired Sarah Lucas as their deputy for the newly created Office of Rural Development. This is something that will cover northern Michigan. I'm just going to read this. Prior to her work with Lake Superior Community Partnership, Sarah served as the Community Development Director for Networks Northwest, a 10-county regional planning agency in Northwest Lower Michigan. She led the development of Housing North, a regional organization devoted to policy and communication solutions to housing needs in Northwest Lower Michigan. And after relocating to Marquette, she worked with the Western Upper Peninsula Planning and Development Region to develop a regional economic development plan for building back stronger in that region. She also serves on several regional and statewide boards, including the Community and Economic Development Association of Michigan, the Economic Development Leaders of Michigan, and the Michigan Association of Planning, where she currently serves as board president. So this was a new department head that our governor created, and their goal is to make rural Michigan more economically vibrant. And Gary McDowell, who is the head of Michigan Department of Agriculture, just named Sarah Lucas as this director for Michigan.
Great,
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, we will move forward to the consent agenda. Anyone wish to pull a report? I would like the ambulance report. Any other reports?
I don't want to pull a report, but I just want to remind everybody, board, that there's an addendum to the clerk's report, and hopefully you got a copy of that.
I have not seen that.
That got put out on the table.
All right.
There's 9 checks.
Okay, pull the report.
I'd like to pull the
Ordinance enforcement report, please.
Because it's seasonal, he doesn't have one this.
Well, I just have, I
Do
just
you have a
have,
question for him?
well, I don't know if it's for Bob, I just how we're gonna handle this. Torch Lake is froze, it's gonna be froze for a long time, and there's lots of guys fishing out there. Are we gonna allow 4-wheelers riding through our park? I mean, the snow's gonna be gone pretty soon. I don't know, I know it doesn't happen very often, but there's 17 inches of ice out there, I kid you not. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's good. We can cross-country ski yet.
So I'm just wondering how
Not
we're
you,
gonna,
Bob.
how we would,
You know what you know where we'll discuss that? We'll do that at the day park committee meeting. When is that? Tomorrow? Yeah,
what time?
come to the day park committee meeting.
Do I get
tomorrow.
paid for that one?
No. I think that's your one volunteer.
Okay.
All right?
No, I'll be there, because
All right.
I don't
And Bob's on there.
okay.
So,
Then I don't need your report, Bob. Okay.
all right. Since nothing else, then I make the motion to accept the balance is received with consensus.
Mhm.
All right. The ambulance, Mike, you get the floor.
I feel like Jason, I'm gonna own this for. I have to pay Bob. What I want to do was, in the packet, there was the annual report, which is similar to the monthly report. And I just wanted to make sure that that was clear. And I wanted to highlight a couple things. I use a format which is called the Pillars of Success: Finance, People, Service, and Quality. That's the way I do my report. But I'm willing to change that if you want me to change it. But that's what I've been using. I'd like to start with finance. Our call volume was up this year. The year before, we had 140 runs. This year, we had 220. Why? Because of ALS. We now provide a little bit of service to Central Lake and the northern portion, and a little bit of service to Milton Township. If an ALS unit goes down, then we are back up for other ALS units in the area. We still get the revenue from the runs. They don't get it. We collect the revenue, and we're averaging about $500 per call, even though we bill about 12. Our revenue year to date is about 103,000. It was because when we took a closer look at it, I had Acumed come up here. That's our billing company, and we looked at the billing process and realized that it wasn't really done the way it should be done. We now bill every week, so we have current revenues coming in most of the time now, and we also do audits. So last week we audited 7 charts and found some things were missing, and we corrected those, and those are being sent back in for rebilling. So we're catching things that haven't been caught up for a long time. So like Bob said, we're hoping our revenue will be between 70 and 80,000 for 200 runs. I don't foresee it going up greater than 220 because we're pretty much there unless we have a population surplus or something of that nature. So that's where it's going to be at. People, we passed our state inspection again. We got high marks from the Petoskey EMS division from the state of Michigan, Tom. The other highlight, and again, I want to thank the board, these auto lifts. Mr. Bishop tonight commented to me that he was involved in an accident, so it's no longer HIPAA, and he stated that they used the auto lift on him, and it saved the paramedic and EMT's backs, because he's like me, he's a pretty heavy guy. So the auto lift has been a huge saver, and they're battery operated, so we have to make sure they're taken care of. The other thing about people is when I work with leadership, I always make sure I give training to people that fulfill leadership roles, so they have an understanding. So I got the board to support Ted to go to an EMS Leadership Academy up in Marquette, Northern Michigan. He did the one in October. He's got one more to do in April, plus the homework, which we all love. That's been having that process being done. So I want to thank Ted for taking that, for stepping in that leadership role. Quality, Ted continues to process and belong to the Northwest Michigan Medical Control Authority. They're the ones who dictate our policies and procedures. And whenever we have a new policy come out, he brings it back to us, and we make sure that our paramedics and EMTs have that. That's in my annual report. And then Ted did get appointed to the 911 board. So that's pretty good that we have representation on the 911 board. I'm an at-large citizen from the 911 board from the other side of the county. And then, of course, we know that Ted was appointed as an ambulance administrator for oversight. So he's still in training, but his first 3 months, he was excellent. And then that's basically what I wanted to highlight in my annual report. Sharon?
Mike, I'd like to ask you on the finance part, are we up to date on our levels of service charge costs for billing? I haven't seen an increase for a long, long time.
Yes, that comes from Acumed and the federal government, and they haven't sent anything out. The only thing they did change was the mileage, and that came out about 6 months ago, and that has been adjusted. You get so much per mile that Medicare,
Right.
Medicaid.
I haven't seen anything to the board for a long time. Does the board need to
The last time we did it was 2 years ago, and we haven't got anything back from the federal
Oh,
government.
I think it's longer than that, I think.
No, no, it was,
Was it?
It was.
it was when you
prior
were
to
on the committee, and
Yeah.
it was, yeah, about 2 years ago. I
So
had,
that's updated correctly then.
yes, that
Okay.
we're
That's all I
we're
need to know.
collecting what we can get. Medicare pays only so much in Blue Cross. So again, we get about 40%. Our average revenue per run is about $500. Now, we also go out on lift assist, getting people up off the floor. We can't bill for that. But Medicare is looking at that, Medicaid is looking at it, but you don't know when that's going to happen. But yeah, I think we go on probably 1 or 2 lifts assist every 2 weeks. We were on one today at 1 o'clock. So I'm not sure how that worked out or how that's been established, why EMS is involved in that, but that's the way it is, basically throughout the whole county. Particularly in Bel Air where they go to the apartments next to Meadowbrook. They spend a lot of time on lift assist there. So that's what I have. I just wanted to pull that out. That's in the packet. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. But I really wanted to highlight that, Bob. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, I'll make the motion to accept Mike's ambulance report.
I'll
Do I have
second
a
it.
Second. Okay, Sharon seconded. Motion to accept has been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving to the next item, special reports. Jason, we'll let you start with Planning Commission.
I apologize. I missed the last planning commission meeting. I do know they were discussing the high water mark and discussing the master plan.
Yeah, there were no major decisions made, if I remember. I watched it. All right. Kathy, a FOIA update?
Yep. Let's see, on March 7th, I received an email FOIA request from a group called Open the Books. They submit a FOIA request every year. And what they're looking for is they want to know the compensation amounts of all of our employees, part-time, salary, seasonal, et cetera. And so with our wonderful BSNA software, they set the program up once and all I have to do is plug in new numbers and send it off. So that came in on the 7th and it was completed on the 11th. Took nothing to do. So that one was an easy one.
Do we get fees for that?
Not for that, no.
Why not?
Because it's an email, basically time taken was 5 minutes and there's no printing or anything of paper. Everything was just emailed to them. So no fees.
But we pay for software products and stuff and updates and.
Well, we pay for the software for a lot of different reasons. So they don't charge me to do that report. Is that what you mean?
No, you charge them. They wouldn't charge you anyway.
No.
I'm just
No,
curious.
Yeah, no, I do
We've
not
never-
charge a fee on that.
That happens every year. I don't
Yeah.
think we've ever charged them.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
No. And next week, I'll be participating in a webinar from one of the MTA Township attorneys, and it's about attorney-client privilege and how that relates to FOIA. So I think that'll be kind of interesting. It's only an hour long, so I'll hear a little bit more about some FOIA things.
That's also on the conference too.
Yeah, they'll be at the conference, yes. Yep, that's it.
That's it? All right. In your packages, there's the finance overview. As I've indicated in the past, any questions regarding the financials can be directed either to myself or the clerk's office as presented earlier in the budget meeting. The current fiscal year 21-22 is estimated to have a surplus of approximately $136,000. It was against a budgeted loss of $135,000, so there's a change there of about $290 favorability, but we know that a large part of that is because of the roads. I've reduced the amount of details in the report, and if anybody has a question on that report, feel free to give me a call. So that completes the special reports.
Okay.
Moving on to board action. We have no old business. We now get into the motions related to what we accomplished in the annual meeting, in the budget meeting. We have 5 items to consider. We have 4 motions related to the budget resolutions for the salaries of elected officials as approved by the electors at the annual meeting held on March 15th, 2022. Is there any discussion on Resolution 2022-01, Treasurer's Salary, that the electors approved at the annual meeting held today, March 15th, 2022? Any discussion?
None.
Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2022-01, establishing the treasurer's salary at $30,000 for the fiscal year of 2022-23?
I can do that.
We've already
Yeah, but.
approved it at the annual meeting. We have to do
Right.
it here too.
We have to
Okay.
do it here. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll approve.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2022-01, establishing the treasurer's salary at $30,000 for the fiscal year 2022-23. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Kathy, please conduct the roll call vote.
I will. Sharon, you're first.
Yes.
And myself, I will vote yes. Alan is absent. Jason
Yes.
and Bob.
Yes.
So that motion passes 4-0.
Sure, and that's why we have to do it. They're resolutions, and
Yeah.
when we talked about it before, we only sent an approval to the electors as to what our recommendations would
Right.
be.
I was just out of
Yep.
steps here.
That's all right. All right, any discussion on Resolution 2022-02, clerk salary that the electors approved at the annual meeting held today with changes in which the salary was changed from 27,550, and I have to dig out my notes.
26,480.
Thank you.
What was it?
26,480.
26,480. So is there a motion to approve Resolution 2022-02, establishing the clerk's salary at $26,480 for the fiscal year 2022-23?
I'll make a motion.
All right, do I have a second? I'll second it. The motion to approve the change to Resolution 2022 establishing the clerk's salary at $26,480 for the fiscal year of 2022-2023 per the vote of the electors at the annual meeting of March 15th, 2022. Any discussion on the motion?
Have none.
I just wanted to make another comment about my actions in that when we were doing all of our budget, salary budgeting, et cetera, this was back in December, January. The world didn't look the way it did today. And so that's all I'm saying is that, you know, these resolutions were made a couple months ago and things have changed. So.
Very
that's it.
good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Hearing no further discussion, would you conduct the roll call vote, please?
I will. Let's see, Alan is absent. Jason?
Yes.
I don't know who Bob Sharon is, so I'll just say Bob.
Yes.
And
It's called a
I
typo.
vote yes. And Sharon?
Yes.
And so that resolution passes 4-0.
It happens when you copy and paste. All right.
Sometimes they're last names and sometimes they're first names.
All right,
just reading
Any discussion on Resolution 2022-03, trustee salary that the electors approved at the annual meeting held today?
I still don't understand how we went from 6,000 to 5,000 something, and that's not a reduction, and that we can do that.
Because you started at 5360.
No, not mine, trustees.
Trustees, they started at 5360. That's what the current salary is. So we increased their salary by 4%. So that's, 6,000 was only the board's recommendation to the electors. The
Okay,
electors then have the opportunity to change that number as long as they don't go below what the current pay is. It's not the recommended pay.
okay, that's where I'm not getting it, is
Yeah.
that I thought they could not go below
No, I
the
mean,
recommended salary,
no, that's
No,
why,
no,
the current salary.
It's the
Thank
current
you,
salary.
thank you. I
Yep.
get it now.
okay.
We hardly ever have that issue come up, so.
I know. 55, 75. All right,
Okay, so,
any other discussion on that? All right, then I will make the motion to approve the change to Resolution 2022-03, establishing the trustee salary at $5,575
where's that at?
for the fiscal year 2022-23, per the vote of the electors at the annual meeting of March 15th, 2022.
Can I
Do
make a
have
comment?
second?
Oh,
All
I'll second it.
right, second, now you can make a comment.
I just want to comment on Kathy's comment. You're right, the world is different now, and you're very generous, but my bills are going up. Inflation's going up, gas is going up.
I agree. I know that too. I think partly because my heart sits up at Eastport Market after working there for 14 years, and a small business owner is going to have trouble. I know that, and so,
I hear you. I am an
$1,000.
owner of a small business.
yeah, that's right, you are. And you're going to have trouble with gasoline prices and so forth.
Absolutely.
So you need your cash.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
Fortunately-
I'll just add to that, Jason, I continue to work numerous hours on, that I put in, and I feel that I'm undercompensated for the hours that I put in, so
I agree.
But don't forget, it's not you, Sharon, it's the treasurer.
it's
So
me sharing that works.
I know.
All right, guys. All of that is duly respected.
Yes, indeed.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded to approve the change to Resolution 2022-03, establishing the trustee's salary at $5,575 for the fiscal year 2022-23, per the vote of the electors at the annual meeting of March 15th, 2022. Any further discussion on the motion?
I have none.
All right, having none, Kathy, will you conduct the roll call vote?
I
please?
will. Bob,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
myself, yes. Alan absent. Jason.
No.
All right. That resolution passes 3-1.
Okay. Moving on to the next one. Any discussion on Resolution 2022-04, supervisor salary that the electors approved at the annual meeting held today? Hearing no discussion, is there a motion to approve Resolution 2022-04?
I'll make that
establishing-
motion.
All right, establishing the supervisor salary at $30,000 for the fiscal year 2022-23. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Thank you. Motion is moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2022-04, establishing the supervisor's salary at $30,000 for the fiscal year 2022-23. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Kathy, would you conduct the roll call vote, please?
I will. My name is first. I will say yes. Sharon,
Yes.
Alan. Hello. Jason
Yes.
and Bob.
Yes.
So that resolution passes 4-0.
All right, thank you very much, board. Moving on. Kathy, let me know when you're ready.
I'm good to go.
All right. Item number 2, any discussion related to the proposed Torch Lake Township pay schedule that will take effect April 1, 2022? Hearing no discussion, is there a motion to?
Well, the salary for the clerk needs to be
Yeah, you need to
adjusted,
update those.
as will the trustees, right?
with changes. Okay, so we will make the change for the trustee to 5575 and to the clerk to the 26. What was it?
26,480.
26,480. All right.
There we go.
So is there a motion to approve the proposed Torch Lake Township pay schedule that will take effect April 1, 2022 for the fiscal year 2022-23 with changes?
I will,
Go ahead, Kathy.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Is there a
second it.
second? All right. Motion has been moved and seconded to approve the proposed Torch Lake Township pay schedule that will take effect April 1, 2022 for the fiscal year of 2022-2023 with changes. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Nay.
passes. Oh,
Whoops.
you nay?
I'm a no.
Okay,
So that's 3-1
3-1.
with Jason the nay. Thank you.
All right, so moving on to number 3. Let me know when you're ready, Chas.
You're so organized in here. Okay. General fund.
All right, so we have 6 motions related to the various fund budgets for the fiscal year 2022-23. We'll go the long way. Any discussion related to a motion to approve for fiscal year 2022-2023 general fund budget with a tax levy of 1 mil? Any discussion? Hearing none. Is there a motion to approve fiscal year 2022-23 general fund budget with a tax levy of 1 mil?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. The motion has been moved and seconded to approve fiscal year 2022-2023 general fund budget with a tax levy of 1 mil. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
They don't line up exactly, I don't think, but
I'm
that's
sorry?
okay.
We have 6 of them, so we'll
Mhm.
take our time. Any discussion related to a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022-23 road fund budget with a proposed 1 mil rate for voter consideration? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022-2023 road fund budget with a proposed 1 mil rate for voter consideration?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. The motion has been moved and seconded to approve the fiscal year 2022-23 road fund budget with a proposed 1 mil rate for voter consideration. Any further discussion on the motion?
That will be on the August ballot,
August
correct?
ballot. Do you want to put that in the motion, or you're just putting it for interest?
It was just for my.
Yeah. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Can we back up just for a second?
Yeah.
Who did the general, made the motion?
I did.
Merchant
Okay.
and Schultz.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right, any discussion related to a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022-23 ambulance fund special assessment budget with a tax levy of 1.85 mils?
I'll make that motion.
And I will second it.
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded to approve the fiscal year 2022-23 ambulance fund special assessment budget with a tax levy of 1.85 mils. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Any discussion related to a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022-23 fire fund special assessment budget with a tax levy of 1 mil? Hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022-23 fire fund special assessment budget with a tax levy of 1 mil?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Motion has been moved and seconded to approve the fiscal year 2022-23 fire fund special assessment budget with a tax levy of 1 mil. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We
Is
have two
everybody
left.
awake out there? Everybody looks like they're falling asleep.
It is exciting.
You know, it's, I've got that
I looked up
voice.
and everybody's head was down.
I'm working on that voice to put everybody to sleep for the really tough stuff. All right, any discussion related to a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022-23 liquor enforcement fund budget as prepared?
I'll make that motion.
All right, the motion to approve, do I have a second? All right, motion to approve the fiscal year 2022-23 liquor enforcement fund budget as prepared. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Got one left. Any discussion related to a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022-23 Traverse Bay Nature Preserve Fund budget as prepared? None. Do I have a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022-23 TPNB fund budget as prepared?
I will make that motion.
All right, I'll second it. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are done with that piece of business.
Yay. Okay.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the King Orchard request for supporting a tasting room. The license that they are going for is with the Michigan Liquor Control Commission for a joint off-premises tasting room license. And ma'am, the floor
We
is
have
yours.
Juliet King McAvoy. I've known her since a little baby.
Good evening. Thank you for taking the time to hear from me. I represent King Orchards. and
Is your
we're-
microphone on, Juliet?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
There you go.
Representing King Orchards tonight, we are seeking a recommendation for a joint off-premise tasting room license. Our plans are to offer hard cider tastings and potentially wine tastings down the road. They're under the same license at our retail store down the road at King Orchards.
So that's the one on 31.
Yes. Yep. And no change in construction of the facility. Just this would allow us to sell the hard cider or wine either to be consumed on premise, or we could sell packaged product that people could take home as well. So, canned cider, et cetera.
We have outdoor seating too, or just indoor?
No plans for making additional things right now. We have a few tables outside, but no big plans right now.
So is this just tasting to see if they want to buy it, or will you be selling the tasting?
We'll be selling the tasting. So this state considers a taste up to a pint
Okay.
of cider.
That's a
So-
taste. Good
That's a
Lord.
taste?
And is that in one of your buildings already there, or are you building something?
So the cider would be made at our facility in Central.
No, the serving
The serving would be done in our retail store.
in the store that's already there.
Yes.
You say it's seasonal, so you're only going to do this, in the fall?
Our store is only open from May 1st through, usually we close before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So it'll just be that timeline.
Till 7 o'clock at night.
And it'll just join with our regular hours.
Mhm.
Right now, we're only, this summer, we anticipate only to be open until 6 o'clock, 6 days a week, and 4 o'clock on Sunday.
So, board, refresh my memory. We did this with 31 Scoops. This is strictly our recommendation that, hey, the township supports the business and that opportunity. You're getting this license is difficult to get from the state.
Yeah, this is step one. They want to make sure that it's approved by the local governance, and then
Municipality.
we take it to the state.
Okay?
I think we did it for Pine Hill
Pine Hill.
also.
Yeah.
We've done it for
I
several,
was
yeah.
just thinking most recent we did with 31
mhm.
Scoops. Board, any other questions? Juliet.
Thank you.
Discussion board, your
She
thoughts?
had to stay.
Any issues that you see?
I have no issues, and if we don't have any more discussion, I'll make the recommendation.
All right, well, Jason, any thoughts?
No, I think it's a great idea.
All right. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution provided in your package.
By Schultz?
I'll second.
All right, so the motion to approve Resolution 2022-06, supporting the King Orchard application to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission for a joint off-premises tasting room license has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion?
What do we need to do from this point
Right here.
forward? Do you need
Yeah.
minutes?
We've got it all. We've
We
got
already got the
everything.
resolution.
Okay.
It's all done on.
We'll either
resolution.
email it or send it to you or scan it to you, or you can pick it up too. So we'll let you know when it's all ready then.
No
Gotcha.
further discussion on the motion, therefore, Kathy, we need a roll call vote.
Yes, we do. Jason?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Bob?
Yes?
And that resolution passes 4-0.
All right, thank you, board. Last item of business. Mike Bertram has submitted the name of Adam Schaefer for the position of basic EMT. Starting pay is $13.45 with an effective date of March 15th, 2022. Does the board have any discussion on that? Mike? All right. I happen to know this gentleman from church. So,
No introduction.
yeah, Adam, welcome. Excellent.
This is Adam, huh?
Hi,
This
Adam.
is Adam. He's a very active member at the church and does a lot of the extra things. So I strongly recommend this. All right, board. Any further discussion on Adam?
Well, I read his application and I read his resume, so I don't have any questions at all.
All right,
And what was our recommended salary?
$13.45.
What's ever
which
on the
would be
current
the
salary
old-
right now?
Is that what they make when they start out?
Well, no,
It'll be
that's
this-
what's listed
it'll-
for
which is
the
what?
basic
It'll
EMT.
be-
You don't need
It's
to put
part,
a
if you
salary.
look at
I'm
the,
asking because he's got 14
you
on
look
No,
at
here.
the
don't
pay
worry
schedule.
about that.
Yeah.
It's right here.
EMT is broken out and he is the basic
It'd be
EMT.
our current salary resolution currently,
So he'll be coming in
Which is
there. The
1345.
changes become effective from $13.45 to $14.50 is when they start earning the extra 15 cents per year of service.
And so
for
he
their
will be
paid time off.
full-time.
I know, but I'm looking at his resume and 8 years of all this trained. Seems low. Sorry. 1345 just seems not enough.
He'll be a per diem in there too.
He's
Oh, he's
full-time.
full-time, never mind.
Yeah.
Well, he'll have benefits then,
So, yeah, he's got benefits
Insurance
like
and
the other-
everything.
All right, so is there a motion to hire?
I
Adam
make that
Schaefer?
motion.
All right. Is there a second? I will second it. The motion to hire Adam Schaefer as a full-time basic EMT with an effective date of March 15th, 2022 at a rate of $13.45. Has been moved, and I need a second.
You were the
I
second.
second.
Yeah.
All right. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. All right, board, that wraps things up as.
I hope you have a
business.
4-cylinder car, Adam. Goodness.
So next item is informational purposes, board discussion. We have nothing listed. Informational purposes only. There's nothing. Citizen comment. Do we have any citizen comment? Hearing none. Board comment. Sharon?
Thanks, spring. My comment is the same as what I had last year. Thank you, Bob, for your diligence and well-prepared budget. You did a lot of long, detailed, along with your wife, and got it all together. And it stands out to no say of any budget we can see across the board and across the county. So your job and your expertise was well taken here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Kathy?
Oh, I'm all spoken out.
All right, Jason?
Sure.
Have at it.
No, yeah, the budget was awesome. For someone like me that doesn't really understand it that well, it helps me understand it a lot better. And I also want to touch back on what I said about the day park. I don't want to keep people from fishing there, but Thursday might be too late. It's going to be 50 degrees tomorrow. I just hate to see these guys ripping their four-wheelers in snow. Have anybody been down there yet? It's a highway going right past our swing set out there. And if we don't have any snow, they're going to be taking their snowmobiles and four-wheelers. Is there any way we can flag that off and make them go the boat ramp?
We don't control the lake.
Yeah, but we control our ramp and our property, don't we?
Well, if they use the ramp, I mean, they can come up that way. But I'm not sure.
Do you know what a snowmobile does with studs on their track?
I'm sure I do.
Okay.
But
Will it melt too soon?
It's going to be 50 degrees. They're not going to have any snow on the ground where they're at right now.
So they're just
So you,
flying across the park.
They're parking in our parking lot by our bathrooms, unloading their trailers with their snowmobiles and four-wheelers and riding through which I have no problem with that. I just don't want them to wreck the property.
we just don't have any ordinance that we only address boats, unfortunately.
Well, I know torch freezes every 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, we don't usually have this problem, but
with these temperatures, is the ice going to be gone quicker too?
it's going to be there for a month.
Oh,
I mean, I'll be fishing for 2 more weeks out. No, it's this. I'm not even kidding you. My auger is all the way to the bottom.
oh.
Out in 200 feet of water. It's that thick.
I would say
We'll be
bring it
into
up at
Easter.
the planning commission. You could do that.
Okay.
Because what we'd have to do is, we'd have to somehow control.
Can we put some ribbon there or something? All right. I'm not going to worry about it.
I suspect they've done that before. This is not the first year. It's probably the first year you've noticed that.
Well, again, when's the last time you knew you could drive a car across Torch Lake?
Oh, well, I think last year actually they did because there were 2 station wagons that went in front of our house and they were racing down the lake. So let me tell you, I know last year the lake was frozen because they were out there racing. So they're nuts. I mean, it's just real. All right. I thank the board again for all your help and for the community coming out like they did tonight. And I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Get well soon
On
on your
thanks.
foot.
I'll make the
I
motion
make the
to adjourn.
motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 8:26.
Motion to adjourn is passed.
8:26. I made the motion.